This is a quick recap video of chapter waves. So let's start with wave motion. It is a kind of disturbance which travels through a medium due to the repeated vibrations of the particles of the medium about their mean positions, the disturbance being handed over from one particle to the next. In the wave, both formation and energy propagate from one point to another, but there is no motion of matter as a whole through a medium. So let's understand three basic types of waves. First is mechanical, second is electromagnetic, and third one is matter wave. Mechanical waves. The waves which require a mechanical medium for their propagation are called mechanical waves or elastic waves. For their propagation, the medium must possess the properties of inertia and elasticity. For example, water waves and sound waves, etc. Next is electromagnetic waves. The waves which travel in the form of oscillating electric and magnetic fields are called electromagnetic waves. Such waves don't require any type of medium for their propagation. For example, visible light, radio waves, etc. And the last one is matter waves. The waves associated with the microscopic particles such as electrons, protons, neutrons, atoms, molecules, etc. when they are in a motion are called matter waves or de Broglie waves. Matter waves associated with the fast moving electrons are used in electron microscopes. Now, spring model for the propagation of a wave through an elastic medium. Energy transfer takes place because of the coupling through elastic forces between neighboring oscillating parts of the medium. Next is transverse waves. These are the waves in which particles of the medium vibrates about their mean positions in a direction perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the disturbance. These waves can propagate in those media which have a shear modulus of elasticity. For example, solids. Next is longitudinal waves. These are the waves in which particles of the medium vibrates about their mean positions along the direction of propagation of the disturbance. These waves can propagate in those media having a bulk modulus of elasticity and are therefore possible in all mediums such as solids, liquid and gases. Now, next is progressive wave. A wave that moves from one point of medium to another is called a progressive wave. Now, let's understand some basic terms. First is amplitude. It is the maximum displacement suffered by the particles of the medium from the mean position during the propagation of a wave. Time period. It is the time in which a particle of a medium completes one vibration about its mean position. Frequency. It is the number of waves produced per second in a given medium. Wavelength. It is the distance covered by a wave during the time a particle of the medium completes one vibration about its mean position. And it is the distance between two nearest particles of the medium which are vibrating in the same phase. Next is angular wave number or propagation constant. It represents the phase change per unit distance or per unit path difference. It is equals to 2 pi by lambda. Thus k is equals to 2 pi upon lambda. The SI unit of this k is radian per meter. Now, next is wave velocity. It is the distance traveled by a wave in 1 second, represented by v. Now, next is relation between wave velocity, frequency and wavelength. So, here you can see wave velocity is equals to frequency into wavelength. Now, next is relationship between wave velocity, time period and this lambda is wavelength. So, wave velocity is equals to wavelength upon time period, and which will be equals to the omega by k, or we can say k is equals to 2 pi by lambda. Now, next is velocity of transverse waves. First, velocity of transverse waves in a solid of modulus of rigidity eta and density rho is given as this is the velocity expression which will be equals to under root eta upon rho. And second one is the velocity of transverse waves in a string of mass per unit length mass and stretched under tension T. So V will be equals to under root T upon small m. So this T is the tension and this small m is the mass per unit length. So next is velocity of longitudinal waves. First, velocity of longitudinal waves in an extended solid like Earth's crust of bulk modulus kappa and modulus of rigidity eta, and this is the density rho, is given by this expression. V will be equals to under root kappa plus 4 by 3 eta upon rho. The factor this kappa plus 4 by 3 eta is called elongational elasticity. Now second is velocity of longitudinal waves in a long rod of Young's modulus gamma and density rho is given as this expression. V will be equals to under root gamma by rho. And the third is velocity of longitudinal waves in a liquid of bulk modulus kappa and density rho is given by under root kappa upon rho. Now next is fourth. Velocity of longitudinal waves in a gaseous medium of bulk modulus kappa and density rho is given as V is equals to under root K this kappa upon rho. According to the Newton, when sound waves travel through gas, the changes taking place in the medium are isothermal in nature. So Newton's formula for the speed of sound is this: V is equals to under root kappa iso upon rho, which will be equals to under root P upon rho. And according to the Laplace, when sound travels in a gas, the changes taking place in the medium are adiabatic. So Laplace formula for the speed of sound is this: V will be equals to under root K adiabatic upon rho, which will be equals to under root gamma P upon rho, where this Cp upon Cv is a specific heat ratio. This gamma is equals to Cp upon Cv. Now, next is factors affecting the velocity of sound through gases. First is effect of pressure. Pressure has no effect on the speed of sound in a gas. Second is effect of density. So V is inversely proportional to under root rho, or V is directly proportional to 1 by under root rho. Or we can say that V1 upon V2 will be equals to under root rho 2 upon rho 1. Now the third is effect of temperature. As V is equals to under root gamma RT upon capital M, therefore V is directly proportional to under root T, or V1 upon V2 will be equals to under root T1 upon T2. The temperature coefficient of velocity of sound is given by alpha, which is equals to Vt minus Vo upon T, and for air alpha is 0.61 meter per second degree Celsius, or meter per second per degree Celsius. This is the unit. And next is humidity. So sound travels faster in moist air. And the last one is effect of wind. If the wind blows with velocity this W in a direction making an angle theta with the direction of sound, then the resultant velocity of the sound will be V dash is equals to V plus W cos theta. Now next is wave equation. A plane progressive harmonic wave traveling along the positive x direction may be represented as first y is equals to a sine omega t minus kx, and second where this k is equals to 2 pi by lambda. Second is y is equals to a sine this 2 pi in the bracket small t upon capital T minus x upon lambda. And the third one is y is equals to a sine 2 pi upon t in the bracket vt minus x, and where this v is the wave velocity and lambda is the wavelength and a is the amplitude of the oscillating particles of the medium, and this y is the displacement of the particle located at position x at any instant t. So next is, if the wave is traveling along the negative x direction, the minus is replaced by plus sign in the above equations. Thus equations will be written as this. Now next is phase and phase difference. Phase is the argument of the sine or cosine functions representing the wave. Thus phi will be equals to 2 pi in the bracket small t upon capital D minus x by lambda. The relationship between the phase difference delta phi and the time interval delta t is this. Del phi is equals to 2 pi upon capital T into delta t. So thus in time period capital T, the phase of a particle changes by 2 pi. The relation between phase difference and and the path difference is this, and this will be equals to minus 2 pi upon lambda into del x. The negative sign in this expression indicates that the farther the particle is located from the origin in the positive x direction, the more it lags behind in phase. Clearly the phase difference between two particles located at separation lambda is 2 pi. Now next is principle of superposition of waves. When a number of waves travel through a medium simultaneously, the resultant displacement at any point of the medium is equal to the vector sum of the displacements of the individual waves. So if y1, y2 and up to yn are the displacements of the n waves superimposing each other at a point, then the resultant displacement at that point will be this. Y vector will be equals to y1 vector plus y2 vector up to yn vector. Now reflection of a wave. When a wave is reflected from a rigid boundary or a closed end, it is reflected back with a phase reversal or phase difference by pi radians, but reflection at an open boundary takes place without any phase change. So next is stationary wave. When two progressive waves of equal amplitude and frequency traveling in the opposite directions along a straight line superimpose each other, the resultant wave does not travel in either direction and is called a stationary or standing wave. At some points, the particles of the medium always remain at rest. These are called nodes. At some other points, the amplitude of the oscillation is maximum. These are called antinodes. So consider a plane progressive harmonic wave traveling along the positive x direction. So y1 will be equals to a sine in the bracket omega t minus kx. This is incident wave. If this wave is reflected from a free end, then y2 will be equals to a sine omega t plus kx. This is reflected wave equation. Now the stationary wave formed by the superimposition of the incident and reflected wave will be y is equals to y1 plus y2, which will be equals to 2a cos kx sine omega t. Now in this case, the points x is equals to 0, lambda by 2, lambda by 3, etc. will be antinodes, and the points x is equals to lambda by 4, 3 lambda by 4, 5 lambda by 4 will be nodes. If the wave is reflected from a rigid end, then y2 will be equals to minus a sine omega t plus kx, and the equation of stationary wave will be y is equals to minus 2a sine kx cos omega t. In this case, the points x is equals to 0, lambda by 2, lambda, 3 lambda by 2 will be nodes, and the points x is equals to lambda by 4, 3 lambda by 4, 5 lambda by 4 will be antinodes. Separation between two successive nodes and antinodes is lambda by 2, and separation between a node and nearest antinode is lambda by 4. Next is modes of vibrational motion of a spring. So on a stretched spring, transverse stationary waves are formed due to superimposition of direct and the reflected transverse waves. the fundamental mode lambda 1 will be equals to 2L, and V1 will be equals to V by lambda 1, which will be equals to 1 by 2L under root T by M, which will be equals to V, let's say. And for the second nodes, this is the expression. For the third node, this is the expression. So for the pth node, when the string vibrates in p loops, then this will be the expression, P upon 2L under root T by M, which will be equals to PV. So the fundamental frequency for a string of diameter capital D and density rho is this. V will be equals to 1 by LD under root T upon pi rho. Next is laws of transverse vibrations of a stretched spring. So the fundamental frequency of a vibrating is first inversely proportional to its length, and this is law of length. Second, directly proportional to the square root of the of its tension. This is called law of tension. And the third one is inversely proportional to its mass per unit length, and this is known as law of mass. So on combining all these three factors, we get this equation. V will be equals to 1 by 2L under root T upon M, which will be equals to 1 by LD under root T upon pi rho, where this rho is the density and capital D is the diameter of the string. Next is organ pipe. It is the simplest musical instrument in which sound is produced by setting an air column into vibrations. Longitudinal stationary waves are formed on account of superposition of incident and reflected longitudinal waves. Now, next is modes of vibrations of a closed organ pipe. So, longitudinal stationary wave are formed in an organ pipe closed at one end. For the fundamental mode, lambda 1 will be equals to 4L and V1 will be equals to this, let's say. And for the second mode, or we can say that third harmonic or first overtone, and this is for the third mode, fifth harmonic or second overtone. And for the pth mode, this will be equals to 4L upon in the bracket 2p minus 1, and this can be 2p minus 1 harmonic or p minus 1th overtone. So here V1 is to V2 is to V3 is to V4 equals to 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7. All this by observing this, we can say that only odd harmonics. So now next is modes of vibrations of open organ pipe. Antinodes are found at both ends separated by one node in the fundamental mode. So for the fundamental mode, lambda 1 dash will be equals to 2L, and for the second mode this, and for the third this, and for the pth this will be equation. And here we can see that V1 is to V2 is to V3 is to V4 will be equals to in the ratio 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4, both odd and even harmonics. Next is resonance tube. It is an organ pipe closed at one end. If L1 and L2 be the first and second resonance lengths with a tuning fork of frequency nu, the speed of the sound in the air is given by this expression. V will be equals to 4 nu in the bracket L1 plus 0.3 capital D, and this D is the internal diameter of the resonance tube, or we can say that V will be equals to 2 nu in the bracket L2 minus L1, and the end correction is equals to 0.3 D, which will be equals to L2 minus 3L1 upon 2. Now next is vibrations in rods clamped in the middle. So here antinodes are formed at the end and a node in the middle. Fundamental frequency V1 will be equals to nu upon 2L, which will be equals to nu. So for the first overtone or third harmonic, V2 will be equals to this, and for the second overtone or fifth harmonic, this will be V3. So let's understand beats. The periodic variations in the intensity of sound due to the superposition of two sound waves of slightly different frequencies are called beats. One raise and one fall of intensity constitute one beat. The number of beats produced per second is called beat frequency. So beat frequency is given by this expression V1 minus V2. Beats may be used to determine the frequency of a tuning fork. It must be noted here that first, when the prong of the tuning fork is slightly loaded with wax, its frequency of vibration decreases. And second point is, when the prong of the tuning fork is filled slightly, its frequency of vibration increases. Now, Doppler effect in sound. The phenomenon of the change in the apparent pitch of the sound due to relative motion between the source of sound and the observer is called Doppler effect. If V0, Vs and Vm are the velocities of sound, observer, source and medium in the direction of sound respectively, then the apparent frequency is given by this formula. V dash will be equals to V plus Vm minus V0 upon V plus Vm minus Vs into V. For the medium at rest, Vm will be equals to 0. This will be the expression. V dash will be equals to V minus V0 upon V minus Vs into V. Here the velocities are taken positive in the source to observer direction and negative in the opposite observer to source direction. Now next is musical sound. A musical sound consists of the quick, regular and periodic succession of the compressions and rarefactions without a sudden change in the amplitude. It produces pleasing effect on the ears. Next is noise. A noise consists of low, irregular and non-periodic succession of compressions and rarefactions that may have a sudden change in the amplitude. It produces a non-pleasing effect on the ears. And the next is intensity of sound. The intensity of a sound at any point may be defined as the amount of sound energy passing per unit time per unit area around that point in a perpendicular direction. Next is zero level or threshold of hearing. The lowest intensity of the sound that can be perceived by a human ear is called threshold of hearing. For a sound of frequency 1 kHz, it is found that the threshold of hearing is 10 to the power minus 12. Here I must write 10 to the power minus 12 W m to the power minus 2. Now next is characteristics of musical sound. So these are the characteristics. First is pitch. It is the characteristic of musical sound that helps the listener in distinguishing a shrill note from a grave one. It depends on frequency. Next is quality. It is the character of the musical sound that distinguishes between two sounds of same pitch and loudness from one another. It depends on the number of intensity of overtones. And the last one is loudness. The sensation of hearing which enables us to distinguish between a loud and a faint sound is called loudness. It depends only on the intensity. So now, units of loudness. The unit of loudness of a sound is bell. Thus, the loudness of a sound is said to be 1 bell if its intensity is 10 times that of the threshold of hearing. The loudness of a sound of intensity I is given by this expression. L will be equals to log 10 log base 10 I upon I naught, where this I naught is the threshold of hearing. It is called Weber. Let me write here. Weber-Fechner law. And the practical and the smallest unit of loudness is decibel. So 1 decibel is equals to 1 upon 10 bell. In decibels, the loudness of a sound of intensity I is given as L will be equals to 10 log base 10 I upon I naught. So next is revibration of sound. It is the phenomenon of persistence of sound after the source has stopped producing sound. The time for which sound persists after the source has stopped producing sound is called reverberation time, and it is represented as capital T. So according to the Sabin law, reverberation time of a hall is given by T will be equals to 0.16 V upon summation of AI into SI, where this V is the volume of the hall, and summation AISI is the total absorption of the hall. And here S1, S2 are the surface areas of the material with absorption coefficients A1, A2, etc. So now next is interval between two notes. The ratio of the frequencies of two notes is called the interval between them. Two notes are said to be in unison if their frequencies are equal. That is, interval between them is 1:1. Some other common intervals found useful in producing musical sound are as follows. Octave, this is 1:2, and major tone, this is 8:9, and minor tone, this is 9:10, and semitone, this is 15:16. The interval between any two notes is obtained by multiplying the various intervening intervals. Next is musical scale. A series of notes arranged such that their fundamental frequencies have a definite ratio is called a musical scale. So the last one is major diatonic scale.